Salutations gamers, and welcome back to this edited Divide et Impera playthrough, where in the last episode we started our invasion of Sicily after being bombarded by Carthaginian armies for a very long time. We are now in a good position to take out the rest of Sicily and then potentially already push into northern Africa as well. So this episode is going to be all about stabilizing the region of Sicily while also taking the fight to the Carthaginians as aggressively as possible to use the advantage that we have right now. All of that while also balancing other threats in the north of our current republic. Now without further ado, let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Sicily, where in the last episode we defeated the now pretty much destroyed Syracusan liberated faction that was essentially Carthage's lapdog. We fended off countless invasions over the last few episodes and finally managed to get a foothold down here in Sicily with 3 of our legions. One of which is currently stationed inside of Syracuse itself, trying to get some replenishment here. The other 2 are in a more offensive position, ready to take these 2 remaining settlements so we can take control over all of Sicily. Let's see if there's anything else coming up at Tarraco. Because these guys aren't on the way to us, but it wouldn't be too much of a problem. This, first of all, would take a little while. But we also have 2 armies up here, even if they are not the best. We still have the pirates over here, but they are slowly disintegrating, probably out of supplies. Outside of that, we have a decent amount of income. So we are going to start pushing down here. And I think what we're going to do first is attack over here with just 1 army. Main reason being, I want the replenishment for these to be kind of even. So we're going to use the other army as they have 0 casualties at the moment. We're just going to pull these back so they're not in range. And we're going to force a field battle. If you recall last time around, we attacked these guys. And they retreated next to Acragas. So we're going to attack them now. They have to take the battle, and the garrison in the settlement is going to join them. So we can avoid a settlement battle. This should be pretty straightforward. You can see the garrison has a bit of experience here, the javelin at least. But outside of that, outside of this general here, there's no cavalry. So I think we can make this a very nice, clean battle. Okay, I'll see you after I've set up our army. Okay, our army is set up in a very simple way. We have our Principes in the center. We have the Hastati on either side. And then we have a reserve of Triari as well as the Brutine infantry, or rather than Triari, these are the Pedites Extraordinari, which are a pretty much identical unit. We have our cavalry at the back, because I'm not sure where we'll be using them yet. I like to keep them in reserve until I know what to do with them, depending on the enemy. The Romans aren't exactly a very strong cavalry faction, so I usually use cavalry units that are serving the purpose of protecting our flanks. Primarily beating enemy cavalry units and taking out skirmishers where possible. I don't really go for much shock cavalry usually. It depends a little bit what's available to me. As far as skirmishers go, the Accensi that we have, or that Rome has by default, are actually a very terrible unit. The levies that we had just a while ago are also not great. The Velites are a little bit of an improvement, but overall Rome is just not a skirmishing faction at all. Okay, the enemy general is over there. We are going to use one of our cavalry units here. Kind of push out over the left side and maybe catch this guy. This is a shock cavalry unit, so if they run into us, we'll take a few casualties, but we should beat them. That mostly comes down to shock cavalry units having very low melee defense. If you take a look in the bottom left, you see 6 melee defense, which is caused by them not having shields. You see the lances do not allow for them to also carry shields. So if they charge into us, they'll do a lot of damage due to the extra charge bonus that they get. But in a prolonged melee, they will always lose to cavalry units like these, which have shields. Just overall better protection. Okay, we're just going to keep pushing up. Our objective here is going to be trying to beat the enemy skirmishers with our slingers. I think that was just a bunch of javelin. And then we will hopefully force a nice melee engagement, which, as you all know, is the biggest strength of Rome. Okay, as you see, they didn't get a great charge off at us at all. And we should be winning this very quickly. I would have expected at least a counter charge from them, but maybe they were caught off guard here. They're not even losing as quickly as I thought they would, but they're also not really getting many kills. You see, we're beating them pretty comfortably. Alright, there we go. Enemy cavalry unit beaten. We're gonna make sure we hunt this down to get as many kills as possible. Okay, and we have some javelin pushing over the left side here. They are very exposed, so we're gonna go for a charge here. Meanwhile, our slingers are also in range. They're going to take some fire. I should have put the slingers behind in this case, actually. I'm realizing that now. A bit out of range, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it work. We're gonna move all of our other cavalry on the right side here. The left side seems pretty under control. Okay, they are retreating. We're gonna move away. This is fine for us because this is a javelin unit that is not engaging in any skirmishing right now. We're gonna try and fake a charge right here. These units are completely unprotected. We're gonna run in here. They are doing a strong push on the right side, so we're gonna move over some reserve troops. These are our two Peditus Extraordinari. We're gonna move them over on this side. It's about time for us to retreat our slingers. So we're gonna move them back now. I'm just keeping our cavalry back for the time being on the right side. I'm just gonna play it slow. Let's move these guys out before they get caught too much. It was actually a little bit late already. So the Libyan spearmen made it in. We didn't lose anything, so we are okay. Okay, now let me slow down for a second so I can select all of this in peace. Some people ask me how I do like group attacks, formation attacks, where I just have to click once. Select all of the melee units that you want attacking, and then press Ctrl G to lock the formation, which also allows you to do this, right? And then just click on any units in the enemy front line, and your units are going to select their own targets. As you can see, they select their own targets and just run at them. You might need to micromanage a little bit. This is what I usually do. This is how you can attack very well with like a big front line. But do not trust it blindly. Like, for example, these units right here, I don't really want them pushing. So I'm going to move them back. I want to keep a nice line of battle and not overextend any units because that leaves them vulnerable to flanking. We're going to move units into these gaps. You see there's a gap that formed right here. Want to back this up, especially because there are 5 units on that enemy side. We do have our cavalry over here. We're gonna move back our slingers a little bit more. I think we're gonna actually target these javelins. Actually, never mind. We're gonna target this general in the Carthaginian militia. Taking some javelin fire here. We're going to pester these enemy units here now. Lots of cavalry. They're going to struggle to defend against us from both sides. Taking a lot of fire from these javelin on our Brutane infantry. So slingers are great if you can somehow manage to have them use most of the ammunition throughout a fight, which is very, very, very rare. If you want the easiest skirmishing units, go with archers. Archers are just super easy because they deal a really good amount of damage. They don't have a crazy amount of ammunition, so it doesn't take long for you to get the full value out of them throughout the battle. Slingers, I kind of misinterpreted as being like skirmisher killers basically because of their range, and I think that was a mistake. I think slingers are really more units that do well in an extended fight compared to the other skirmishing units that are out there. Whereas javelin are more shock troops. You want to target high value opponents, take them out of the battle. Highly armored opponents as well. Whereas with slingers, they are really dependent on you finding good positions. This right here was not a great position for our slingers. You want to use the terrain to your advantage. I didn't do that very well here. Unfortunately, there are not many spots for us to charge in with our cavalry as the enemy is keeping back these Libyan spearmen. I'm going to try and ride around and charge these opponents. These are also spearmen, so we have to be careful they don't turn around on us. So you can see the slingers are doing good damage against lighter units like this. And again, just because of the amount of ammunition that they have, they can actually have decent value. Although the Exensi really struggle to be worth the army slot that they take up later on. Early on they are a cheap option that you can go for. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty clean battle. Lost a bit of infantry, but that's to be expected. We are going to again go with killing our captives. Actually, our public order is pretty fine across the board. Let's go enslave these guys as well. Boost our economy a little bit more.
We cannot follow this order.
And that should leave this settlement completely vulnerable. And we're going to just auto-resolve this. 97. I would have expected that to be better, but it looks like the javelin lived. Oh well. We're going to just aggressive stance and get this out of the way. And simply peacefully occupy. Alright, that just leaves Panormus for us to take. This army, we're going to keep them out. And then hopefully they'll be a little bit replenished soon. A lot of troops here might take a little bit to replenish because they take pleb population, including... Actually, no, the Bruttian infantry takes Peregrini, so that's foreigners. But the Hastati and Principes is gonna take a little bit to replenish. This army here is going to be faster to replenish, even though this also takes plebs. Actually, I'm going to combine this and get rid of one of these. These are mercenaries, a bit expensive. Outside of that, we're going to leave that as is for the time being. Let's go through our regions. Latium is doing just fine. I'm wanting to get the wine trader here, if I recall correctly. What are we researching right now? Weapon proficiency. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. In Cisalpina, we are also constructing a few things. We're constructing quite a few tier 3 settlements here right now, and we are only at 12 food. So that's something we need to keep an eye on. We're getting some irrigation ditches down here in Magna Graecia, and Akragas obviously needs buildings changed. Now this is a grain settlement, you can see. So we're going to hopefully get a lot of food out of this. We could use a temple down here, couldn't we? But I'm not sure if this is the best place for it, because there should be a unique grain building here as well that we can get. Let's get a fishing port here for now. This is going to be kind of a mixed region with 3 settlements. It's decently suited for trade, but with the grain and the fish, it's obviously more of a breadbasket for us. Gotta upgrade this guy. Vanguard Legion, formidable fighters, and we're gonna go inexorable conquerors again for that extra morale bonus. The thing with these bonuses is because they are percentage based, that means they synergize well with factions that already have high stats in these areas. And so because the Romans have throughout the board high morale already, providing a percentage bonus on top of that high morale just gets you more value out of these skills, if that makes sense. I probably wouldn't go for morale bonuses if I have primarily poor spearmen, like if I'm playing a Germanic tribe. Mostly because I get less value out of it than I would otherwise. There's a Carthaginian attack. Oh my, look at that. There's an army up there. They must have landed there recently. Oh no. Oh no, I should have left that other army in range, huh? Okay, so that is 2 fleets and kind of half an army here. Meh, that is doable. Here comes the enemy attack. Trying to form up. You can see I've positioned a few rocks right here, a few stone beds, which are going to slow down the enemy approach and make them vulnerable. I've positioned them specifically right here because that is in range of our javelins. It's going to make it easier for our infantry to land their javelins, which is some really good damage. There are also spike traps around here. I'm not exactly sure where I placed them anymore. Around here, as you can see. So these units running through the stone bed here are going to be slowed down. The spike traps are probably going to take some of them out. You can see they're actually holding position here, like in front of our spike traps and the stones. See, they're being slowed down now by a little bit. Not really. Well, it was nice in theory. The enemy general is deciding not to run into our spikes, which is surprising. We're going to go into defensive formation here. We've thrown our javelins. We're actually going to pull up one of our reserve units, some of these principes. Somebody in the comments actually mentioned that my pronunciation of principes was originally actually correct, because in classic Latin, the C, as far as we know, should be pronounced as a hard K sound. And they know that because of like Greek transliteration, right? So how the Greeks wrote it tells us how the Romans said it when it was translated, well, transliterated into Greek. So, for example, a lot of people say the word Caesar, but in classic Latin that would probably be pronounced. And again, I do not speak Latin. It would be pronounced something like Kaiser, which sounds very similar to the German word Kaiser. So that makes a lot of sense to me, right? So that is that. It would probably be principes. There are some Libyan peltasts pelting us from over there. I'm gonna move some reserve troops over here. As you can see, the general actually picked a very nice avenue of attack here, running into our hastati. That was probably our weakest position. So once more, the Rome AI surprises me. I'm gonna put these guys into defensive formation as well and try and close this gap on the side. These guys should be able to hold this for quite a while. This is one of the major advantages of the Romans, again. The fact that they can go into this defensive formation. You can see there's a lot of ships landing here. Even if we do not end up winning this battle, we're going to be able to cause a lot of damage to the opponents. I'm gonna try and use our cavalry here a little bit. You can see there's not a lot of ranged units here, so we're just gonna keep them in position and ready to charge into the enemy's back once they've committed over on this side. I should have probably hidden them somewhere, but there weren't many positions where I could have hidden them that were in range of our deployment, right? We could have also met the enemy on the beach, which I considered for a second, right? We could have put a lot of troops right here and just charged them as they got out of the boats. But I think a classic defense here is going to be better for us. I'm going to put these guys into defensive formation now. And move up. You can see this makes the formation a bit tighter and just more sturdy. Our slingers don't have great angles and they're actually hitting some of our troops right here. But overall, most of the shots are landing fine. Let me make sure that all of our units are in guard mode, so we don't end up chasing enemies. Taking fire still from over here, but they are also in return taking slinger fire. I have archers here from the garrison as well that are helping. They're doing better than I think they should. Meanwhile, our general is still very much safe over here. And also in encouragement range for some of these units, but most of them are not covered. We're going to move him into position as we require the encourage bonuses. We're actually going to move behind these units, and I think this is a good spot for us to inspire real quick. Hopefully inspire this unit here specifically. We're going to move the general right there. And then inspire. As this is the only way that I can actually target anything here. I'm Gonna go into defensive position, defensive formation, and we're going to close this gap here too now. We're still taking fire because of their javelins. So this is going to be extremely painful. Over here, I'm gonna try and move a slinger unit right here and target these guys. So otherwise, our infantry here is going to be in for a rough time. Alright, here's the Inspire. We hit this unit, so I'm happy. I think we also hit some local archers. I do wish you could target that more. Okay, you can see enemies have broken through our barricades here now. They've pushed through and they are meeting our Peditas Extraordinari. We're gonna actually commit these guys into melee here now, at least these two on the side. And hopefully push them back a little bit again. These are very sturdy units that are hard to get through, especially for poor quality infantry like this. So I'm very happy with this side. They're going to hold for a long time. I'm not so sure about these guys, so we're actually going to move up some reserves now. These Hastati, they are still eager, but they're getting a bit tired, and there's a lot of infantry left. The enemy is very much concentrating on this left side, but I do not want to push ahead, as that means we're going to take javelins in our back and we can get surrounded. So we're just going to stay in position right here and not get baited into anything hasty. Our slingers here are targeting these ranged units, but so far I've failed to do much damage at all. Still have plenty of ammo left though. We could try and charge these Scutari. Scutari are generally in loose formations. I think if we do like a mass charge with a lot of our cavalry units, we're going to be able to do some damage. I think that would be very beneficial. As far as reserve units go, we do still have some more Principes back here. I'm going to move these guys in here now as well. Change them into defensive formation and get in there. Ooh, the enemy has charged us here now with some Scutari. They are hitting our very weakened line of Principes. We're gonna move in some more units to back them up right now. But they are still holding steady. I think their high amount of armor definitely did good work here for us. I think some other factions might have struggled more with that than the Romans. You can see we fended off the enemy right here pretty comfortably. We're gonna make sure that we stay in position. There's another barricade right here stopping any bigger moves. We're gonna run in here now. And we might be able to do a bit of damage just because of loose formations struggling against cavalry in general. This is going quite well, I think. These units might end up struggling a little bit. I'm going to move some of our hoplites here over and some of these sword units. I'm actually going to use them right here and send them into the fray as well. These are the leftover garrison troops. It's not a lot, but it's a bit of support for these troops. Holding over on this side. Meanwhile, over here, I'm quite happy with how things are going. So many units still in reserve over there, though. That is what I'm concerned about. And we have routed the enemy Scutari without too many losses. They killed 10 of our cavalrymen. In return, the entire unit here is gone. I think that is a worthwhile trade. There's reserves coming in now. Some Numidian... Oh, that is going to be painful. Fortunately, we have the Campanian cavalry with a bit more speed. That said, our equity is also pretty fast. But they're going to struggle to keep up with the Numidian cav. I'm actually going to have to focus on this a little bit. I'm going to ride to the side, hopefully block this path. I do want to catch these guys because otherwise they're going to do a lot of damage to us. We might end up having to chase them for quite a while. We want to spread out our units a little bit because that... Okay, well, never mind. I think we got them. You want to spread out your cavalry units when you're chasing units like this because that allows you to block off any paths that they might take to try and get away. And then you want to surround them and just make it harder for them to kite you around. Well, that's the Numidian cav gone. I mean... I will take it. They are just broken. As you can see, they probably didn't use them very well here. You do not want to get them caught. They are a very light skirmishing cavalry unit. We're going to write these cavalry units over on this side now and get some charges in here. Because if we can break this, then we can move up and potentially take this side as well. And that would put the enemy under a lot of pressure. Or we could use our cavalry to do charges in from the side right here. Over here, I'm not really expecting much more enemy. Oh, our slingers have pushed out. They are kind of out of ammo. Probably why they started pushing. I'm gonna try and get them back. That was my bad. Oh no, they were retreating. I remember now. These guys were retreating. Well, they're broken now. There's our cavalry. We're gonna do a nice big charge here, and these guys should rout immediately. Well, they're holding. This is the general. So maybe that is why they're holding. They have the extra morale bonus. We're gonna do another charge. I'm going to move this unit over here now, because that is the only place where there's still resistance. There is more troops coming in right here. Balearic slingers. We should take those out with our... Oh. More Numidian cav. Do another charge here, and then we'll move our cavalry over. I do want to make sure we take these guys out before they are in range. So you saw what enemy skirmishes can do to us. Going to push a little bit over on this side now and move these guys into the gap. Meanwhile, the fighting over here is very fierce. You can see the enemy higher quality units have moved in now. With the hoplites right here. The Carthaginian hoplites specifically are a bit of a threat. Meanwhile, our infantry is a bit tired because they have been fighting here for quite a while. So especially the Hastati are approaching their limits. Okay, there we go. We've caught the enemy Numidian cav again, surprisingly. And they're not going to really be able to do very much against us. We just have much better armor than they do. So if they get caught in melee, they are toast. We have freed up these units now, but I'm not sure if I want to push around over on this side now. These right here are, well, they are mostly archers. So I think let's try and do this. It's a bit risky. We gotta make sure that we use this path right here. This does leave a gap right here, which is a bit risky, but we're probably going to be able to take out these units as they approach. And I mean, they are ranged. These Balearic slingers are chasing our leftover baggage train. This one is taking a little bit longer, but they should rout very quickly. They are already shaken. Our lines are getting a little bit thin here. I'm going to move back a unit of Peditis Extraordinari and move them in position right here. Take them out of defensive formation. I do want to keep some troops here to close this. Come on. You guys have to finish these off now. We're taking way too many losses against some Numidian cav. Ugh, I also don't want to disengage this because they're just going to run away and skirmish us again. But this has taken way too long for such a light unit. The other one routed so quickly. This one took so long, it's almost not worth it with how many losses we took. Also from these enemy skirmishes that have arrived. Ugh, that hurts. Okay, finally. Finally they're gone. These guys really fought for their lives right here, these Numidian 85 kills. How did you get 85 kills on me? That is crazy to me. Okay, anyways. We're going to charge in here through the enemy fire. And these cavalry units are very much beaten up now. They've done a good job overall though. And once these slingers here are done, there's not much left as far as enemy reinforcements go. Ooh, we have been charged over on this side while I was distracted by some infantry that is trying to stall our attack over here. See, the enemy front lines here are very much broken. Ooh, this unit is pushing through. They're in our back. We're going to target these with our Peditis Extraordinari. We're going to take the fight to them now. Whoops. I meant to use these guys. Get in here. Get in here. We can now move our cavalry over, and I think we're going to use this angle right here. This is a bit unfortunate. These archers are actually in range of us. Otherwise, they would have probably landed. Ships not landing is one major reason why you want to make sure that you enable the timers and keep them enabled. So if the enemy doesn't land their troops, I can just fast forward and we wait this out and we'll win the battle. There's some more light melee units here, some marines, but the marines, they're not really going to do very well against our Astarte and Principes and so on. Our cavalry here might get targeted by them, which is not great. But if we can run into these archers, we might be able to get a quick decision to this battle, as this might cause a mass rout. How many troops they've lost already. At this point, they would probably be panicking. Come on, get in there. Don't get stuck on buildings now. There's the cavalry coming in, and now the enemy is properly surrounded outside of this one unit that hasn't entered battle yet. And at this point, it's probably dawning on them that it's over. Roma and Victor. You can see this is causing a mass rout right now, and that is the battle. That was a bit more costly now, but overall that was a fun little battle. Even though the balance of power was very much against us. So that was probably the Carthaginian last effort to hopefully retake Sicily quickly. It is very likely not going to happen now. And they are retreating all the way back. There's an army still in Sicily right here, but we'll be able to deal with that soon. We'll move up our other army next turn and hopefully take Panormus if we are in movement range. And that is also going to draw in that other army. Okay, we have a rebellion imminent in Sicily. Which is to be expected after all that fighting down here, to be honest. We're going to take Panormus next. There are some pirates that have spawned here too. Carthaginian pirates, which might target us. As you can see, the garrison here is much bigger than the other settlement. Plus, there's obviously the remains of the other army. These troops have barely replenished. I think, though, we are going to attack this army right here with these troops. It is going to risk them attacking Akragas. That is a big risk, but for getting a nice battle here, I think it is one that I'm going to take. Okay, they are out of range. This is going to make things a little bit easier. I do not want to use this army to attack and risk losing any of these troops. So I'm going to just walk in this direction and block off this movement path. And now this battle is pretty easy. Okay, here we are. We have lined up. In our front line, we have Hastati. We have our mercenaries that we bought, which do fit in quite nicely with the rest of our army. We have our Triari in the front line this time around because they are probably our most healthy units. And I've basically decided to keep the majority of our Principes in the back as reserve, as they have taken quite a bit of damage, especially this unit right here. But we'll just move them wherever needed. Then over on this side we have more Hastati and one of the healthier units of Principes. I'm going to lock this formation here. I do want to bait the enemy out of the settlement, but I'm not sure how I'm going to manage it yet. We're going to approach them a little bit, but I do not want to fight over there. I've laid a bit of a trap here. There is a cavalry unit over on this side. But basically the objective of these guys is to draw some attention and therefore some units over on this side. Meanwhile, over on this side, in the forest, we have hidden a few units, namely Bruttian infantry, as well as some velites. And my original objective was to bait them out, try to cause a battle here, and then flank around with these units and get the velites into their side and hopefully cause some damage to a few of the heavier units. Okay, these ships are going to land. There is a melee ship in here. Some Carthaginian marines. We already know those from the last battle. And then mostly archers. I'm not even sure if I'm going to charge that. I think I'll probably give it a charge or two. Meanwhile, we're going to advance here a little bit and hopefully bait these guys out. But if I get the chance, I'm going to retreat again. We do have a few velites here as well, so we're not completely... Ooh, movement. Oh yes, okay, I'm gonna move back. I want to ideally use this side of these buildings here to cover our flank. Carthaginian cavalry charging us. If they charge into our front line, I'm pretty happy with that because we have the javelins. If we can stop them with a few javelins, that would be totally cool by me. I'm gonna charge this now. Change it to flying wedge. Get some charges off into these units. Ideally, I want to avoid these melee units because they are just better targets. They're running around us. They might actually spot our troops over here, but we have... Yeah, they've spotted our Brutian infantry, so they know. Gonna move our general over on this side. Maybe help out if these guys get charged. Gonna get our cavalry out of there. They haven't taken any losses yet. But just to be safe. I think we're going to charge this. Actually, with our general... They're probably going to try and run into our side here again. So this is how it looks when they do, like, repel cavalry. I'm going to go for another charge in here. Hopefully cause some more damage. See the cavalry run in here as well. Defensive formation. We tighten up the formation because that reduces the impact of charges like this. Makes it harder for them to punch through. Increases the unit mass. So you can see the javelins stop them in their tracks when they charge up front. We're going to move our Brutians down here now. I think we're going to use our Velite. We have to be very careful though. They might actually end up charging our Velite. So we need to use our general to stop some of these. We're going to use our Brutians here. We're going to use our general right here. They are going to get that charge off. I should have probably put another spear unit here. They do have a lot of cavalry. Are they charging our Brutians? No. Okay, but with our general, we're going to be able to help out over here. We're going to use our improved Inspire and get in there. Meanwhile, they are getting into our back, which is not what we wanted. Enemy archers over here are routed. We're going to move our cavalry back. They're really trying to push through here. I'm going to move these back. They have overextended a little bit. That is my bad. We actually have a flanking maneuver coming in, as I said, but it's really not a lot of troops. We're going to stop that with some Prinky pace. Okay. We're going to continue with our original plan. Velites in the side. And our Brutian infantry right here. That's these guys. We're gonna make sure we keep our back safe here with our reserve troops and our general. Our front line is gonna have to hold for a while, but I think they're gonna be fine. Delivered a bit of a charge right here. We're gonna run back out. Our Velites are now in the enemy's back, and now it comes down to selecting the right target. We have some spearmen here. Militia. Carthaginian militia. It's mostly just militia. I'm not sure where the enemy... Oh, the enemy general is right over there. But that is the marine general, right? Alright, anyways, we're gonna throw our javelins in there. We're gonna keep our Brutian infantry out of there. I wanna get the javelins in fast. Okay, there we go again. And we'll just continue targeting these militia units with our Velites that have flanked around. These guys are out of ammo, but we are just going to use them in melee once that's over, because Velites, they do have shields. They are not helpless in melee. Alright, we're just gonna flank around now, and the enemy is very much done. Okay, we are just going to occupy that as well. The public order down here is already terrible, so no need to make it any worse. Let's get the aqueduct here. And then Panormus is a fishing village. We're gonna go for a fishing port here. At Akragas, we're gonna get the industrialized farms, as I said. And then right here, I think Roman barracks would actually be a good call for us. With all of this food production, we're going to have some banditry on higher levels. Even on this level, you can already see +2 banditry. But on higher levels, +4 banditry, +8 banditry. And that means barracks have a bit of extra value because they reduce banditry in any region. One great way of holding this place against Carthaginian invasions is a well-placed army not inside of one of these settlements, but actually in the middle. if you place an army right here, I'll show you that soon. That means this army is able to both support Akragas as well as Panormus at the same time. And the great thing is, if an army lands right here and they attack these guys' position between these two settlements, both of the garrisons are going to be assisting them. You can fortify them, and that's how you can hold the entire western side of Sicily with just one army in a fortified stance against massive amounts of Carthaginian armies arriving. I do want to start recruiting a fleet soon, but for the time being, I want to focus on this region. I want to see how much money we have left after completing that other legion that we have over in Rome as well. Carthage is dealing with the pirates here, which is good for us. There is an army pushing into Cosentia now, as you can see. So we're going to move that army that we have in central Italy down. Okay, we have a rebellion at Panormus, which we will deal with very speedily. Conveniently, they spawned right next to our army. Hope that we don't lose any units here, because we have taken a bit of damage. Thank you. Another Carthaginian army. I don't know where they're pulling these armies out of, and I really don't want to know. Carthage really is a pest. It really is in DEI. I don't know what it is, but Carthage is so annoying to play against. Okay, no attack this turn on us, which is very beneficial. As you can see, we have gotten quite a bit of replenishment, and the baggage train is helping with that. We are being raided down here now. Fortunately, we are almost in range to take these guys out. We should be feeling the pressure now. This is also going to allow us to replenish this army using the local replenishment force. Now, I have recruited a fleet over here in Syracuse, where we are now recruiting a few ships. Hopefully we can get a few more in the next turn, and then we can use these to either fend off any invasions coming from Carthage, or in an ideal scenario, we might use this fleet to help transport our troops across the water. Because, just to explain it again for anyone that hasn't played DI, if you send an army into the water as a fleet, they are going to take attrition within one turn, because they are basically out of supplies. So you need to support them with a fleet that has one of these supply ships right here. The thing is, that rule does not apply for the AI, so they're able to just drive around as this, just because none of that behavior is coded into the game itself. So I imagine it would just be too hard to really implement. Now, we're getting the olive grove down here. I like to pretty much always get these whenever I have the option. Pretty much all of the resource buildings, because they provide good benefits for very little cost, right? So this one provides us 800 wealth from farming for, in this case, a decent cost of 8 public order. But there are more cheaper buildings here as well. Like, I think the wine press is pretty good. As you can see, all this costs us is a little bit of squalor. And outside of that, it's basically just free money and public order. There's not much else we can do. We are going to get this Romanized provincial capital. I do like to go for the middle one here. And the main reason is that it's kind of the most balanced one. The allied government does provide you with more money, but in return, it also increases the banditry, which in turn, you then have to balance with other buildings. It's not a bad idea, but you want to get this in regions where you're going to have a lot of income. To keep it nice and simple, I generally like to go for the Romanized provincial capital, the middle building line. That also exists for a lot of other factions. Just because it doesn't increase your banditry in any way, it doesn't cost you as much public order, it doesn't cause as much squalor. It's just easier to manage overall. We do have a plague outbreak here. That is strange. Oh, I guess it makes sense because squalor is pretty big, huh? It's mostly caused by, I think, the fishmongers as well as our irrigation ditches. We are going to have to get an aqueduct over here soon. Alright, we'll start administrating here again. And as you can see, one of these armies disappeared. I don't know where they are. This fleet right here is making its way north. I don't know if they landed. With 2 armies, this is basically not possible for them to retake. Even with 1 army, it is very difficult for them. We're going to take out this army, and then I think we're gonna send these guys down to Syracuse. This other army, we are actually going to keep them on their way south as well. And then hopefully we can actually just invade Carthage next turn. We're going to use some of our funds here to organize games. That's also going to reduce the risk of a secession here. We'll use one of the Papiria party members. Actually, she's already max rank, isn't she? Whoops, I didn't mean to click that. I think we'll use their party leader, Lucius. Do that. And then I think we'll also use one of ours and get them ranked up as well. Let's use our party leader's wife and send her to Magna Graecia. That should be a nice safe assignment. We are going to expand this right now. We're going to have a lot of squalor here, but considering we're already building the aqueduct, that shouldn't be too big of a problem. Let me check if there's anything else we can get right now that's going to give us easy sanitation. I don't think so. I think we already researched all of that with the water sluicing. I think we'll just have to get the aqueducts built for now. Okay, we gotta keep recruiting more ships. 1 supply ship as well. I do kind of want to just keep defending Panormus and the Kragus, because the second we board any of these ships, they're just going to land over here with at least one of these armies.
Treading softly. Stopping to rest a while.
So at least 1 army needs to stay over here. In Syracuse, we're going to go for the latrines. This is my preferred building to get early on, especially because of the growth per turn. There's the slave uprising. Yeah, we'll be able to crush them in the next turn.
Will you not give our people a little go?
The Doorsi really want to trade with us. They tried over the last few turns as well. But I really don't want to deal with them right now. And they're not offering us enough money. Alright, Slave Revolt, we will crash that. The Sicily have joined our enemies. That is not really a surprise. Sicily are Carthaginian lapdogs. Okay, we're going to attack these guys right now. They have taken a bit of damage already from something. Still in range, so these guys are just gonna get wiped out here. I am not going to fight this myself, even though this is going to be fairly actually, you know what, let's fight it ourselves. We don't have a lot of manpower down here. Okay, we're gonna push up here immediately. And we're going to use our cavalry here a little bit to make sure there's nothing hidden in the forest. You never know. It's a good habit to get into. So we are gonna ride close to this and see if we can spot anything. This is a fairly inexperienced army on our side. There are some units with a bit of experience. But this is going to be good for their experience levels. This is a nice practice battle right here. Hopefully steal them for what's to come soon in Carthage. Provided they actually make it down there. Okay, we're gonna move up to about here. There's a little ditch here. Meh. I thought it was deeper than it really is. I thought there was more of a ditch in this location. Trying to find the perfect spot to fight. I think we should try and get further up the hill, actually. They're kind of giving that to us right now, so we're gonna try and tilt our army here a little bit. I think they're gonna try and prevent that now.
The brave, ready for orders.
We're going to fake a charge right here. Well, fake it. We're gonna go for a charge here. And if they react to that appropriately, then we're just gonna cancel it. They're going to really struggle with their hoplites to do anything about this, because hoplites are just not great at stopping cavalry units because of their slow speed. Okay, get our infantry in position. We're gonna move everything up a little bit to fix the formation again. We're gonna move up and they're gonna find their spots. That's what I usually do when I run my skirmishers through my infantry lines. As you can see, we've pretty much thrown most of the javelins. Our principes haven't yet. And we are going to go for this straight away, because I feel like this is a very advantageous position. We're also going to switch to flaming shots here. The main reason being the morale impact, which is a major reason why you'd want to bring archers as well. Flaming shots are just fantastic. And this is going to just overall lower their morale and hopefully make it easy to rout them. Move up our reserves. Move up our general. You can see there's some funky stuff going on with the lines here, but I'm not too worried. Our infantry are overall going to just beat the crap out of these militia hoplites. And meanwhile, we're beating the crap out of the enemy general at the back. He's wavering. He's going to be gone soon. And together with the fire arrows as well, that's going to hurt. We do have some peltasts flanking us here. And these guys at the back are also not to be underestimated. We're going to chase him down with a unit, but I want to stop this fire by the peltasts. We're going to target this unit and charge them in the side, and they should be routing very quickly with the general dead, fire arrows raining down on them, and they have units in their back. It's not looking so good. These units here are suffering a little bit. They are fighting quite a few enemies here. Alright, that should be it though. Okay, we're going to... In this case, I think we're going to just ransom these captives. Fortunately, they survived, so we're gonna do another auto-resolve battle here. And that is the Slave Rebellion crushed. Replenishing this army shouldn't take too long, which is important.
Waiting for more orders.
Yep, there you go. Now, with the Carthaginian army over here looming, as well as one of these moving to Alalia, we are under a little bit of pressure up here, actually. But I feel like so are the Carthaginians. The thing is, we could recruit another army, although that would really drain our funds. I think we're going to just try to pressure them as fast as we can down here and hopefully prompt one of their armies to make their way back down to us. So what we're going to do here is move a fleet to Akragas, which is just a hop away from Carthage itself. One problem that we have is the Sicily actually having an army down here. They generally stay in northern Africa and don't really venture out.
Know that I have an amulet against the evil eye. Dark sorcery will gain you no.
Okay, and they really don't want anything to do with peace, not even for a crazy amount of money. Sometimes they are quite happy to make peace with you and then just re-attack you in like 6 turns, but that would have been a big enough window for us to take Carthage. So we'll have to see what we do. Maybe we don't land at Carthage itself, but try and make our way down here, get a foothold, and then we'll be dealing with them. I do hope that this puts them under enough pressure to let up on us a little bit in the north.
The words of the oracle influenced our choice of proposal. Therefore,
Massalia offering us military access again. We're going to go for that. I'm going to try and not pay them for it, but military access to Massalia would be good in case they need help defending over here. Okay, let's move around with our spy down here in this turn and see if there's anything else down here, but it doesn't look like there's more armies this way. There could obviously be more hidden over there. We did not get attacked. And we're gonna move one of these. We're gonna move this army right here and replace one of these. And then I think we're going to go for a invasion of Carthage straight away. With 2 stacks, I do think that is going to be manageable. Do we go for... I think we might want to go for 3 stacks, huh? Okay, we're gonna go for 3 stacks. We'll leave 1 army in Sicily. We'll go balls to the wall, as they say.
Steady as we go. At your boarding. We hunger for battle, Commander. At your command. Boarding now.
These guys in the water as well. And because we are next to these supply ships, we are going to be fine. And this is going to be very hard to deal with. Even if they have a fleet somewhere, considering how many ships we have and other troops, they shouldn't be able to take us out with any of their fleets that are hidden in the fog of war. This should theoretically allow us to manage to land over in Carthage very soon. Well, it looks like the Massili also joined the Carthaginians, which, again, is not at all surprising, considering they are also Carthaginian lapdogs. We are ready to start our invasion of Carthage, I think. We're probably just going to land on the coast right here. Oh man, this is going to be awesome. I always love invading Carthage. I don't know what it is, but it's just such a relief, isn't it? We're going to land right here. Get our fleet in there. Ooh, that is already an auto-resolve victory right there. We're going to send these guys into the port. Oh man, I'm not even going to have to fight that. Like, this battle is gonna be the easiest auto-resolve of our life if we want it to be.
That course is blocked. Not into those waters.
So that is a 96% auto-resolve. It's almost a shame that we're not going to be fighting this ourselves, but that is Carthage in our pockets. I don't really want to go for this if this is a 96% battle. As you can see, there's really not that many troops here. Some Carthaginian militia, some Libyan spearmen, some Carthaginian cavalry. And it's pretty much undefended outside of the Carthaginian allies standing close to Carthage, which might become a bit of an issue. But given how comfortably we're going to win this battle, it's not really going to be much trouble to defend. Now, I have no doubt that a lot of the Carthaginian armies are going to turn around and try to attack us in other places, but we will deal with that as it happens. I think this was a miscalculation on the Carthaginian AI's part as to how aggressive we were going to be, as they 100% needed an army down here in Carthage. So this place is now ours. We're going to go for an amphitheater down here. I want to stabilize this place, and this we're going to get rid of for now. Now we're going to make sure that our armies are all landed. The Massili are not going to attack us this turn. There is no way. There's no manpower here, but we're going to land this fleet here for now. Gives us a bit of replenishment. And that is Carthage in our hands, friends. That was a very productive episode. We took all of Sicily. We took out Carthage. We are now in northern Africa with 3 armies. Our income skyrocketed by 3,000. I'm probably going to disable that for now, though, as we want to stabilize this region first. We do have to defend against this, which is not going to be super easy, as we do not have any population down here yet. The Massili are already at our doors. We might be able to make peace with them. The Massili are also down here somewhere. Right here. This is where one of their settlements is. And they are going to be on the way over as soon as they get a chance as well. So we'll have our hands full over the next few episodes. Outside of that, there's definitely an army in northern Spain or like southern France over here. I think I saw them move up this way. Yeah. So these guys might head our way and we'll have to defend that off. There's also an army somewhere around Alalia. I'm not sure where they disappeared to, but they could obviously try and sail for Rome, in which case that place would be pretty unprotected and will very likely have to rely on a combination of quickly recruited units and mercenaries. Now, I'm going to finish leveling up all of these generals here. Again, well, this general right here. And that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please consider leaving this video a like so other people can find it too. And if you want to be notified whenever the other episodes come out, make sure you subscribe to the channel, as that just makes it more likely that you'll see the video when it happens. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.